On this episode, J.D. Vance uncharacteristically blames something on Joe Biden, American spies in Greenland, a massive airstrike in Ukraine, the average Russian who loves helping the Ukrainians by taking cell phone videos of drone strikes, and more. Okay, let's go.
Conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
Let's start with J.D. Vance, since we're talking about unimportant and irrelevant things. He did an interview.
I see what you did there. That's pretty clever. I see what you did.
He did an interview with USA Today. And he was talking about the February 28th blow up in the Oval Office with Zelensky. Let's look at this headline. It says from USA Today, exclusive. Vance blames Zelensky Oval Office blow up on Biden's Ukraine policy. I can't even do justice to this. We have to just watch the video.
So you asked, would I change anything? I mean, do I wish that we had had a blow up in the Oval Office in public? Not necessarily. But do I think that it actually elucidated some of the real issues of disagreement between the United States side and the Ukrainian side? Yes. And I think that was useful for the American people to see. And I think we'll continue to have these conversations. And look, there are a lot of issues of agreement between the United States and Ukraine. There are occasionally some issues of disagreement between the United States and Ukraine. And what always really bothered me about this relationship was not the Ukrainians as much as it was the American side, specifically the Democratic administration of Joe Biden.
So J.D. Vance was upset that the Biden administration, who's no longer in power, weren't Kremlin simps. Okay, I'm there. I just highlighted and narrated the GOP Make Russia Great Again agenda. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What I think J.D. Vance was talking about is he was using the words United States instead of the Trump administration. So he wanted to highlight that there was a disagreement, and it was healthy for the American people to see that there was a disagreement, and there was basically a disagreement between what he said was the United States and Ukraine's position on the war. What he actually meant was there's a disagreement between the Trump administration and the Zelensky administration.
Right.
That's what he should have said. He was kind of surreptitiously using the United States instead of the Trump administration.
It was inaccurate.
Yeah.
Because Zelensky's not a Kremlin meat puppet. Therefore, that's the conflict, because Trump and the Trump administration and the GOP have a Russia first policy.
Yeah.
Therefore, there's the conflict.
He wouldn't have to make an embarrassing show, whatever he was doing in the Oval Office. Obviously, it was a setup. He wouldn't have to do that if Biden would have done his job. I guess that's what he's saying.
Yeah, right. That's what he's saying. It's also nonsensical and accountability shifting from J.D. Vance's and the Republican Party's, already failed policy in Ukraine. And it was good to see J.D. Vance parrot Kremlin propaganda talking points in the Oval Office blow up with Zelensky. Like, J.D. Vance was basically like a 16-year-old parenting Twitter, Telegram, Kremlin propaganda. So if that's impressive to you, that's good for you. It isn't for me.
Let's look at some of the February 28th Oval Office meeting. Just the J.D. Vance part.
It's a train wreck.
Let's go back. Let's
Absolute
take the Wayback Machine.
Yep. This isn't pretty.
It never is.
Oh,
with
God.
J.D. Vance.
Oh.
After prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a.
Okay.
JD Vance did many things there. He showed that he was an absolute Trump sycophant and just a cheerleader. He is Robin to Batman, never been to Ukraine, has no idea what's going on, absolutely clueless, and also wants to lecture Zelensky on what a good guy Putin is, and you can do business with him and cut a deal with him and trust him. And only a Kremlin first sycophant would ever bring that up. But that's what JD Vance is. So, of course, that's what he said.
Yeah. So Zelensky was talking about, hey, look, we've been at war with Putin since 2014, which I guess Trump didn't realize that he doesn't.
He thought it was 2015. Yeah.
He does know his history, right? But okay. So he thought that, Zelensky was saying that, look, we've been at war with this guy for, since 2014. And what kind of diplomacy have we gotten through to Putin? So what are you actually going to do? And then he puts JD Vance on the spot by saying, oh, you know a lot about Ukraine, which you do not, clearly. And have you ever been to Ukraine? Just curious. Have you ever been to Ukraine? Oh, and that sets JD Vance off because he's been put on the spot, shown once again to be
Zelensky punked him 100% for being clueless, living in a Russian propaganda bubble because he wants to, have no understanding of the reality on the ground. Saying that he's researched it and seen videos. You have to take guys off the street. Yeah, draft dodgers to make him go in the army like we did in Vietnam. Yeah, I got it. True. Also Russian propaganda. Also what Russia does.
Yeah. Well, I guess JD Vance was correct in saying that, look, the Biden administration was not only weak on Putin, but refused to negotiate with Putin. Okay. And we're going to change all that. Clearly, they have done jack shit as far as ending the war by negotiating with Putin, a la Alaska summit. But you know what? I guess it didn't matter anyways that Biden did negotiate with Putin, because it doesn't matter now that the Trump administration is negotiating with Putin. But both administrations seem to be weak as far as military on engaging Putin. Last week it came out the administration is no longer allowing Ukraine to use U.S. weapons to strike inside of Russia, like HIMARS, as far as weapons go. So maybe they're just afraid that they don't want the Ukrainians to start blowing up Russian gas stations with HIMARS missiles inside Russia.
Weak
Who knows?
GOP policy, weak leadership, shows a fundamental lack of understanding of the dynamics of the war. There's no negotiating with Russia. Fear of escalation is nonsensical kowtowing to Russia propaganda. Russia has a North Korean division in their country fighting Ukraine. And you want to talk about escalation? Only a clown or a Russian puppet would say that. Iran has licensed their Shahed drones, to be used en masse against Ukraine. You want a word escalation? Russia's doing the escalation. They always did. It's a nonsensical Kremlin propaganda talking piece, and only a no-talent ass clown would fall for it. That's just my professional opinion.
When I listened to JD Vance talk, it made me wonder. I asked myself, does he even have a national security policy staff That who's telling
He
him
fired them
what
all.
to say here?
Laura
He-
Loomer fired them all because they weren't right-wing QAnon sycophants. So he
Well,
fired his national security staff.
So he did have a national security advisor. The Veep does have a national security
Who?
advisor, and I looked this up because I was wondering who
Keith
is giving
Kellogg?
him
Keith
who's
Kellogg.
giving him his talking points. And it turns out he had a national security advisor named Andrew Baker, who was his advisor until Mike Waltz, who was Trump's national security advisor, resigned over the Signal Chat Group scandal.
So is Mike Waltz gone?
Mike Waltz has been gone since May of this year when he resigned.
I thought he was one of the more intelligent, capable members.
Is it because he was a special forces officer?
Well,
like yourself?
He was in, I think he was a 20th group guy out of Florida. We've had this conversation before.
Yes.
I thought he was pretty even keeled, thought he was realistic. I thought he was one of the better personalities in the administration.
If that is true, then of course he would be fired by the
Correct.
Those types of individuals
don't
have no
long.
place in the Trump administration.
If you're not a sycophant, loyalist, Russia first guy, you don't last. Right.
Right. So anyways, this vice president national security advisor, Andy Baker, was moved up to the National Security Council to be the deputy national security advisor because Marco Rubio took over as national security advisor and secretary of state. And apparently he's doing a bad job at both.
Well, why?
So yeah, maybe we give him another job. Anyways, I
got a question.
Yeah.
Is Marco Rubio allowed to do anything on the Ukraine topic?
As far as what?
What has he done? What has Marco Rubio done? And the question really is, what has he been allowed to do vis-a-vis Ukraine? He's the Secretary of State, right? Shouldn't he be spearheading and conducting diplomacy with Russia and Ukraine on this topic?
I think his role, I look at Marco Rubio's role in Ukraine as the opposite of Dmitry Medvedev. Whereas Medvedev, his role is to just be an idiot and talk crazy shit about the war in Ukraine.
Yes, he does.
Marco Rubio is the exact opposite for this administration. His role is to be the smart one in the room and the voice of reason.
They don't let him
so
talk.
when he just backs up Trump, but everybody knows that somewhere deep inside, Marco Rubio is actually pretty smart. He's just now forced because he's a politician and he wants to get ahead, and he only cares about one thing. He only cares about one thing. He doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't care about his constituencies or the United States. He cares about bettering himself because he's a politician. That's what they all do. That's their only raison d'etre.
I'm going to stop you when you're wrong.
That one thing. Okay, stop me when I'm wrong. So because he's a piece of shit politician and he shakes his head yes, even when you can tell on his face he wants to stab himself in the eye when he's listening to Trump, but he's a good soldier. He dutifully shakes his head, and because people know that Marco Rubio is relatively smart and he used to be sane on some levels, then his job is to agree with the president, and because he's a smart guy, people are like, oh, okay. We know that Marco Rubio is one of the smart people in the administration. His job is to agree with the president. Everybody says yes. Just like Dmitry Medvedev's job is to talk crazy shit. The exact opposite.
So you didn't answer my question.
What's that?
And in doing so, did answer my question. Marco Rubio
that makes total sense. Yes.
Has been cut out of the loop on anything to do with Russia and Ukraine.
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows what's going on?
Because you don't know is the answer. So he's a Secretary of State. He should be heading diplomatic relations with Russia and Ukraine. He's been cut out of the loop. He hasn't been allowed to.
Everybody knows when you negotiate a settlement for the largest land war in Europe since 1945, the person you want to send is some stupid jackass real estate businessman.
Oh, Witless Witkoff.
Witless
So I read an article.
Everybody knows you do that. That's in the State Department playbook. That has been since Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, Witkoff is got tremendous international relations experience building apartment buildings.
Yeah,
he's really suited for the job. I read a very detailed article about him yesterday, and they're like, he has zero preparation. He doesn't take notes. Part of the diplomat game, you take notes, dude.
Just like Trump.
Right. You're dealing with international relations, big topics. You take notes, you capture details, you follow up, you get something productive out of this. He just wings it. He's just like, whatever, bro. Just like selling an apartment building.
You don't have to do due diligence. Yeah.
They don't
do have to do due diligence. Just like you don't have to apparently do due diligence when you buy apartment buildings or other land deals. You just kind of look at the land. You just got to feel, a good deal when you see it.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, it's all feelings based. I got you.
Look, if I was an investor,
Medvedev's head.
Are we back to that?
Sorry.
If I was an investor, knowing what I now know about Witless Witkoff, when this is all over and he is no longer in the administration or part of government, and he goes back to trying to do business, knowing what everybody knows about him, he's a complete fucking moron. He will not. You could not invest a single penny in any of his endeavors.
He just wings it, bro.
He will probably be bankrupt by 2030. That is my guess.
The Russians
that's my prediction.
His lunch. The Russians eat the Trump administration's lunch. They're prepared. They're thorough. They take notes. They have their own translators. They're ruthless. They're double-faced. They're backstabbing. They'll play you like as big a chump you want to make yourself. That's how they roll. That's what Russia does. It's in their DNA.
Seem like nobody's driving this train. There's no conductor at the head of this train. It is the world's largest superpower barreling down the tracks completely, without
in a circus tent hall of mirrors, unable to determine what reality really is. Who knows? It's so distorted and dystopian. You have no idea what's going on. Don't make any sense.
I want to end this segment on JD Vance because I want to end this with this video because it reminds me of Veep,
Lord.
and it's very applicable. So we're going to go to Veep. Let's play this clip.
What the fuck, Amy? I am putting out 2 fires in there, and I turn around to find out that you have set fire to the fucking fire truck. Sorry. The level of incompetence in this office is staggering.
Good for her.
Staggering.
No, that's someone doing her job, going the fuck off to get results. I like that.
The level of incompetence in this administration is staggering.
It's self-induced, self-created, desired incompetence.
But
it's all self-induced.
These assholes are not setting fire to the fire truck. They're riding into the fire. It's already on fire.
On an FPV drone. Yep.
They're riding into the fire, and the fire truck is already burning.
It's like Dr. Strangelove, top 3 greatest movies of all time, and it's true. Riding the bomb.
Pickens is riding the bomb.
Nuclear bomb. Riding it to the end. Woohoo! Isn't this great?
Yep, we're riding this fire truck all the way to the bottom.
By the way, great movie. For all the listeners, you must see that movie. Black and white, old school, the darkest humor you could imagine. Dark, morbid humor. Unbelievable.
Yep. And it teaches you about nuclear deterrence theory.
And Peter Sellers plays 3 different roles.
Everything you need to know.
Yep.
Everything you never needed to know about nuclear deterrence theory.
Mutually assured destruction. It is. Who's the dude who played George Patton? Is it George C. Scott?
Yes.
He was in that, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the generals.
No fighting in the war room.
Yeah, dude, he's masterful.
Gentlemen.
Dude, Patton wasn't his greatest movie It was this. It was Dr.
He's not.
Strangelove.
He's not actually Patton. Like they don't call him Patton,
Bro.
Oh, he's supposed. He's not supposed to be Patton. He's supposed to be
right.
Curtis LeMay.
Yeah, and Dr. Strangelove, he's not Patton, but he became famous.
Play Patton. Yeah,
Patton,
right.
I believe. By the way, Patton, decent movie, decent. But Dr. Strangelove is masterful, dude.
My favorite part of Patton with George C. Scott is when he's using his pearl inlaid pistols to shoot at the Japanese Zeros.
When did Patton fight the Japanese?
Man, I'm telling you, it's in there.
It's German. It's a German.
Oh, Germans.
Messerschmitt doing a thing.
Whatever.
That's cool. Close enough.
Shooting at the planes. You know how long it's been since I've seen
my favorite line from him is when he goes to Tunisia to try to unfuck the American debacle in Tunisia because we first got there, didn't go so well.
Yeah.
And he's going to, they show him in his command headquarters. He's like, what's going on around here? And there's a guy laying on the ground sleeping like in a sleeping bag, like in the hallway. And he bumps into him. The guy's like, watch out what you're doing. And Patton's like, he says, you know what? That's the only some bitch around here who knows what he's doing. I'm trying to get some sleep here. That some bitch is the only one who knows what he's doing around here.
Promote that man.
Yeah, as he tries to unfuck the train wreck of Tunisia in 1943.
Everything's fucked. Hey, let's switch gears and talk about Greenland. Greenland. Here's a headline from the BBC. The headline is, quote, U.S. tells Denmark to calm down over alleged Greenland influence operation. Apparently, Greenland has incarcerated 3 Americans for what I can only describe as insurrection mounting. They weren't really spying per se. I guess it could technically be spying, but they were going around, from what I gather here, these 3 Americans were going around and creating a list of pro-American sentiment citizens in Greenland, in Nuuk, the capital of Greenland. So, wow. And so, of course, Denmark is all up in arms. Like, this is undue political influence. You're prepping the battle space for a possible insurrection, which...
Good, put them in jail. Put them in jail.
Yeah, okay.
Lock them up according to your laws. Prosecute. Throw away the key.
Stop breaking the law, assholes.
Have a nice day.
There you go.
Have a nice day.
There you go. Hey, what are you going to do? If we get caught spying somewhere and they round us up and put you in a dark hole and you never see them again, okay.
So what the capital of Greenland is Nuuk? Put them in a Nuuk federal pound you in the ass penitentiary. They don't have those. They don't have those. I don't know.
They only do that in the winter to keep warm.
Send them in for a dime. Early release on 7 for good behavior. Get out in 2032. Write a tell-all book. Have a nice day.
Hey, it's a win-win.
Come on the podcast.
It's a win-win.
Be a good time.
Yeah. Hey, we invite you 3 insurgent building Americans.
Yes.
When you get out of pound you in the butt Danish prison somewhere,
Copenhagen,
in Copenhagen, you can come on the podcast and tell your harrowing tale of espionage and danger and anal sex.
And
tell us all the details. And guerrilla warfare. We care about all that stuff. Hey, coincidentally, yesterday I gave a lecture to the Royal Danish Defense College in Copenhagen.
I hope you thank them for their public service.
I did. So I gave the lecture from Colorado over the video teleconference system. And the class started at 9:15 Copenhagen time. And it was 1:15 Colorado time.
Good
and I was very
Lord.
tired. I'm still tired. Hey, shout out to the Joint Senior Staff College students in Copenhagen.
Thank you.
Wonderful questions. Smart, colonels at the War College there.
Were they all sycophant yes men like the U.S. military, or are they different?
Not at all. I didn't get that. I didn't get that impression of the
Unbelievable.
Danes.
How are they ever going to get promoted?
they had very good questions, and they are very interested in how to defeat the Russians, which, unlike
Don't ask the
American
US.
colonels,
Don't ask the US.
don't give a shit. We don't care about the Russians. We
Don't
don't
ask
even
the
care about the
US.
Chinese.
We're going to drop a hand grenade from a drone. Like the weight
Have you-
pulls the pin, and then it falls. And then there's a boom.
I'm sure there's more U.S. military officers right now concerned with defeating fucking Venezuela than defeating the Russian horde or the Chinese. But hey,
Well, the U.S. has no lessons to learn from Ukraine because it would be completely different with us. We have no lessons to learn.
We have none. That's unfortunate for us. Hey, let's look at this though. Let's switch gears again and talk about Europe, because there's a lot of talk about Ukrainian security assurances and guarantees. Here's the headline from the New York Times, and I'll put all these in the show notes so you can read them yourself. But the headline from the New York Times is, "A peace deal for Ukraine could test German reluctance to deploy troops," end quote. Basically, the security assurances and guarantees for Ukraine rest on what can we provide Ukraine after this war's over. And troops on the ground is a big part of it, and we've talked about it ad nauseum.
Waste of time and money.
Last podcast, you're
Clickbait.
anti-troops on the ground. I'm
Clickbait.
pro-troops on the ground. Regardless, it looks like there's a lot of disagreement amongst Europe. Surprise, surprise.
Clickbait.
Whether or not Germany is going to send troops. The Alternative for Deutschland party, which is the largest opposition party in Germany right now, is pro. They are the ultimate Kremlin nut huggers. They are pro-Russia. They obviously do not want to send troops to Ukraine.
Oh, well, then I think maybe you should.
But Friedrich Merz is kind of leaning towards that, or at least outwardly, politically.
Waste of money, waste of resources. You're just flushing money down the toilet because you didn't have the wherewithal to let the Ukrainians use Taurus missiles in the border regions around Ukraine where Russia launches attacks, because you don't have the political gravitas to make that decision because you're afraid of escalation. While there's a fucking entire North Korean division there, Russia's not worried about escalation. It's a Kremlin political propaganda tactic. The idea of escalation is complete fucking bullshit. And Ukraine knows it is. And Ukraine has proved it's complete and utter bullshit. But because you're afraid of the saber rattling by a defanged Russia, you want to send tens of thousands of troops that you're going to have to pay for? Ukraine's not paying for them. They can't afford them. They can't afford to pay their own guys. You're paying for them. You're going to set them out on a line.
It's going to be expensive.
Do demining. You're going to get shot at. You got no chain of command. Your rules of engagements are fucked up. The DPR and LPR are going to launch MLRS at you. You're going to wet your pants. It's preposterous.
There'll be a lot of pants wetting going on. It's going to be interesting to see which countries, if any, pony up anyone to go into Ukraine.
You're a fool if you do.
I can imagine countries that definitely will not. Slovakia, Hungary, Poland.
Serbia will.
Probably
Serbia
will not.
Serbia will.
Sure. France. I want to know if France is going to send the Foreign Legion to Ukraine. Because they talk the biggest shit of anyone. And I would not be surprised if France, in the final analysis, do not send anyone into Ukraine.
It's the stupidest idea, but it shows your failed strategy. I would say I'm doing research now just on tanks, the flow of tanks, donations to Ukraine, backfilling in Europe, who's making orders, from what companies, how much. I don't think anyone's more in on helping Ukraine and rearming Europe than Germany. I haven't seen anybody.
Material-wise, I think you're right.
Sure, you look at the Ringtausch program. Of course, I said it wrong. It's German. But their idea is you donate stuff to Ukraine, we'll backfill you with better German products. We'll give it to you free, or we'll give you discounted prices. But that circular program, hey, you send your stuff to Ukraine, we'll backfill you with much better German equipment. And by the way, German companies make money off it, but we don't need to talk about that. But you talk about tank production, infantry fighting vehicle production, artillery, air defense, counter drone, gunpowder. Bro, you name it. Germany's all in. And the biggest growth company since 2022, Rhine fucking Metall. Their stock has gone through the fucking roof in the last 3 years. And their CEO, I forget his last name, it's like Papergin or something like that. This dude is fucking everywhere. Photo shoots, selfies in Ukraine, body armor, ribbon cutting, new factories. Rheinmetall has already built one infantry fighting vehicle factory. They're building a artillery factory. They're not done yet. They got 2 other factories in the pipeline. 4 factories, Western Ukraine. He's like, we protect them ourselves with Skynet. Have a nice day. This dude is a baller, a arms industry baller. Rheinmetall's all in. They are all, their hands is in every fucking pie of military production in Europe. Every pie.
I think that the most interesting thing about what you just said is they have factories in Western Ukraine, which are vulnerable to Russian attack, and they protected themselves with their own
Skynet.
As, whatever they have.
We'll shoot every fucking drone down that comes our way, bro. And Skynet will do that.
We did not have a Patriot system or anything next to the pseudo-American factory that was hit last week.
Too expensive. Patriots are too expensive.
So,
$3-4 million a missile. Yeah, too expensive, dude. You need cheap 30, 25 millimeter cannon fire, which the Germans have, to knock down the cheap shit. End of story.
Yeah. Well, this let's kind of switch to this because it talks about strategic air defense. Last night there was a massive strike on Ukraine. Specifically Kyiv. And there was 629 air targets launched by the Russians. This included almost 600 Shaheds, 2 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, 9 Iskander short-range ballistic missiles, and then 20 KH-101 cruise missiles. And there were 19 dead. 4 of those were children and 40 wounded. So it was a massive strike. I spoke with friends in Kyiv this morning, and they said everyone is just exhausted today, as you can imagine, because the air raid lasted all night until about 9 o'clock this morning. So the Trevoha is what they call the air raid. Lasted a long time. Everybody is exhausted. Luckily, Kyiv right now is relatively deserted because people are trying to get the last little bit of summer break because school starts September 1st for the Ukrainians. So relatively speaking, the city is pretty much deserted.
Honor your dead, care for your wounded, give Putin 2 middle fingers, and build more fucking flamingos. There's your answer.
Thank you.
It's like the German bombing of London.
Wonderful advice.
Yep. Suck it up, Buttercup. You don't quit. You don't give in. 2 middle fingers, and you better fuck them with a flamingo, bro. I think I'm going to make a T-shirt. I'm going to make a T-shirt that says that.
Fuck them with a flamingo? That sounds like some kind of weird fetish.
No, I'm going to have a nice bright pink flamingo riding a cruise missile into the Kremlin.
Some big phallic symbols. Still seems
fetish. I didn't go there. You just went there. I did not go there.
So you're going to have a cowboy riding a pink missile into the
Kremlin. Ride a flamingo, bro. How are you doing? Good morning.
We are copywriting that right now.
Ride the flamingo.
I will make that for tomorrow. I will have ChatGPT.
You're going to AI it. Okay.
AI that image.
Do it.
And it's copyrighted. And we'll show it tomorrow on War Week Friday. It's a very good missile, I've been told. Okay, but massive strike. And here's the headline from Politico. Quote, Putin defies pressure for peace with massive strike hitting the EU mission in Kyiv. End quote. So apparently some of the debris / blowback, overpressure from some of these other explosions inside the city broke a couple of windows in the EU mission inside of Kyiv. It didn't actually strike the mission. It just hit some windows. And here's a picture, if you can see this. Here's some of the pictures of the mission. It looks like a pretty ghetto operation. Anyways, there are probably 3 people work in this building. It's the EU mission in Ukraine. Looks like a non-event. Anyways,
where's the EU crying about escalation?
This is
escalation, dude. Where is it? You know what I would do? I would say this has cost you 100 Taurus cruise missiles. I'm going to whack you tomorrow with 100. Airports.
Van der Leyen, the president of the EU, did call Trump and say, see what we've been telling you about Putin.
Yeah. Why call Trump? Why not whack these dudes yourself, bro? You got your own cruise missiles. You got your big industry.
No. Europe can't do that.
Launch, dude.
Europe can't do anything without Trump, apparently.
Yeah, I know. How about this? You want to play it safe because you're all afraid. Hit Crimea, dude. Then hit Crimea if you're so afraid about it. 100 missiles, 100 targets a day.
No. Europe can't do anything. They're frozen.
Apparently not.
They're paralyzed. For whatever reason, they're unable to, produce more Scalp missiles?
Escalation. They're escalating.
Really?
Us dropping glide bombs in Russia is escalating. What about this escalation?
They're so outraged by Russia, damaging the windows in their, shoestring operation in Kyiv that they can't send any more tanks to Ukraine. Germany,
well,
France,
tanks are irrelevant, but
whatever.
Okay.
Anything.
Well, we
How
know what you got.
about more money?
We know what you got.
How about just send them money? Here's another interesting event that came out of this air raid last night. So the Russians also struck a Bayraktar drone factory in Kyiv. The interesting thing about this, and this article is from Ukrainska Pravda, it said that, let me find it right here, 70 of the 600 Shaheds were downed by interceptor UAVs. That's a huge number.
Interesting.
And we talked about the super high-speed interceptor drones.
Sting.
They're quadcopters. They're shaped like a little tiny missile, and they have one job, and that is to go up and hit Shaheds at about 200 miles an hour.
That's pretty good. Like to see them do a little better. That's pretty good.
It's really good.
They're cheap.
We had just started. I mean, it just came into the press, last month, about these little tiny interceptor drones. Fast, tiny, but effective.
Inexpensive.
Yeah. Talking to my friends in Kyiv, they said one of the Shaheds was downed in Kyiv, completely whole. It just kind of skidded to a halt. And it's a complete drone. There's no damage to it.
Where's Ukraine's Shahed program? Reverse engineer it, copy it, send it right back. Do more.
I don't think they want to.
Why?
For whatever reason, the design of the Shahed is unpalatable to Ukraine. They're using, we talked about it, the FP1, Firepoint 1 type propeller driven, looks more like a plane than a weird stealth fighter or a stealth bomber. So
gotta be cheap, gotta be long range, gotta make 1,000 a day.
Yes, at least. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. I know we're getting to the end here, but I wanted to discuss this. Actually, let's leave this for tomorrow. We'll talk about the travel ban for under 22.
Right.
Individuals under 22 years of age. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's end on some videos and some stories. From the Kyiv Independent, Ukraine hits Russian cruise missile carrier near occupied Crimea.
That's juicy.
Yeah. So we have a video. If I can pull up the video.
Let's see it. Oh, I hope
Let's
this
watch
is
it.
good. Hope this is good.
Okay. they hit it with drones. So not unmanned surface vessel, actually flying drones. So
It'd
it's
have
a
to
missile
be-
cruiser.
It'd have to be big to have any kind of impact. Hit the
Doesn't show the
radar.
explosion.
Hit the
Boom.
radar.
And then this is the second one. The second drone comes in.
Hit the radar,
And
bro.
this is a little sketchy. The second drone looks like it doesn't hit anything. It just hits the side of the ship.
That's a weak video.
Yeah.
Unless those things got 100 pounds of explosives or more, and I doubt it. That's not going to do much.
Yeah, an FPV drone is not going to do much against a missile destroyer.
No, they're designed to absorb damage. The
interesting part about this strike is that it hit that destroyer in the Sea of Azov, not the Black Sea.
Far away.
It is far away. So I'm curious I wonder what kind of drone. Was it a long loitering propeller driven type drone? It must have been to go that far.
Pretty weak video. I know you got to keep people motivated, but inconclusive.
I want to see some fire. I want to see a ship upside down.
100%.
With the bow, sticking out of the water, about to go into the depths, go down. And
then the Russians would say, "What do you mean we're sinking? Look how far up in the air we are."
Yeah. Yeah, you're actually rising, it looks like.
We're actually getting further away from the ocean.
Yeah. Okay, here's a video of the Ukrainians striking a Russian oil refinery. Now, we've been talking about this all week. Everybody's been talking about gas prices inside of Russia, striking oil refineries.
Right. Look at this. They can't get their cell phones out fast enough.
No. Let me do BDA for the Ukrainians.
Bro, look at that drone coming in. Quick, get a video.
Boom,
nice little
there
explosion.
goes your refinery.
That nice little explosion.
That was a big boom. Okay, the whole point of that video was as soon as anything happens inside Russia, you got 20 little,
Vatniks
Vatniks with their cell phone out. I was going to say Peteres with their cell phones out, taking battle damage assessment and putting it on Telegram for the Ukrainians to scrape up. Oh, look at this. That refinery has absolutely no air defense whatsoever. So we can alter our TTPs accordingly. So we're going to strike that thing again. This time, we're going to have a larger plane. We're going to have more explosive. And we're going to go nice and slow, because if you put more weight on the plane, you can go longer if you go slower. So you're not going to try to evade anything.
You're talking about the Foxbat. Hit it with the Foxbat remote Cessna.
Right. Maybe you go in there the first time with a Flamingo missile or something fast, harder to hit. And then all these stupid Peter gets battle damage for you and intelligence of the site. And then we can alter our tactics and go in there cheaper and bigger and slower, whatever. Stupid Russians doing stupid Russian things.
The Flamingo effect.
Yeah. So that was the whole point of this. This video, let's just end on this because it's a happy video. It is just Ukrainians using drones to destroy a Russian mine-laying vehicle. Nothing unique here, but it is interesting.
No techno music. No music.
No techno. Just quiet silence.
This is a priority one target. Anything that lays a minefield, mine laying, you hit it.
Or anything that removes mines.
Yep. You scramble every asset you have. You take this thing out.
Yeah. Engineers don't live long on the battlefield.
Nope. Number one target.
They, like you said, they're a high-value target.
Same with the Russians. Russians target Ukrainian engineer assets. You're the first one getting it.
Yeah. I feel like you don't really need mine layers like this, large, carrying lots of mines.
Yeah, but dude, they
slow.
They work though. Obviously you don't want to be seen. That's a problem.
Yeah. Right. I mean, on the modern battlefield, you're way too slow, way too vulnerable if you're this giant mine layer.
Multi 40mm rounds being dropped.
Yeah, once they get you with the first one, you're screwed. Once they hit you with the first one, that was a big one. That's a big boom. Look, once they hit you with the first explosion, you're done. Just walk away. Because if your vehicle is disabled, the Ukrainians are going to send 10 more drones and completely annihilate you. Don't worry about vehicle recovery. That doesn't exist.
That's like, you're not where you think you recover a TOS 1A. Nothing gets hit. You better run as fast as you can.
You're not going to recover anything. If it's disabled and you can't get it out of there in 5 minutes, then just leave it. Like we have in the U.S. Army, I think we still have a Mike 88, which is a
one
giant
in a museum. It's like a house with tracks.
It's a giant vehicle with a giant crane to pull tanks out of the mud and get them back to the
massive vehicle.
The FARP. Yeah.
What's a FARP?
Forward. What did I say? Forward operating base. What did I say?
Is that a FOB? I thought I said FARP. Forward air refueling.
Refueling point. Yeah, I meant.
I was saying, hey,
not a FARP.
I've been out of the business. Military is acronym heavy. They acronymize everything.
Yeah, I meant FOB.
Could be a FARP.
Yeah. Anyways, just feel good Thursday, blowing up Russians.
Flamingo Thursday.
The Ukrainians are really good at making V1 rockets from Germany from 1944. They're really good, but they're updated. They're not V1 rockets. They're updated. They're modern. I'm sure there's a couple of semiconductors in there from Intel. We have 10% stake in Intel now. So, Intel's going to do great. That's my 2 cents. Okay. Hey, good chat. I'll talk to you tomorrow for War Week Friday.
Do it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Let's do it. Bye-bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.